Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing good. These are course, helping you navigate through the course of life. So today I want to give you my recommendations on how to love God as a youth. Alright? So I know you are open to so many ideas on how to maintain that relationship with God, but this is my own recommendation on how you can actively love God as a youth comfortably without so much stress, no overthinking about it. Alright? So let's get to it. The first one is build a personal relationship with God. So a lot of persons, we love God or we serve God or we know God based on what people told us. Yes, based on what the preacher said, based on what our parents told us. At that age of maturity, at that age of understanding, one thing I would recommend you do is find one experience you can hold on to. Right? Find one experience you hold on to, and it will always be a reminder that this is what I know about God. And people ask you, okay, tell me what you know about God. How can you defend your faith, knowing God? If God really exists, that's what you hold on to. So build a personal relationship with God. Know God in your way, in your own understanding. Alright, know God personally, not based on what you heard, based on what somebody said somewhere. So my second recommendation is love yourself. Yes, love yourself. Now, loving yourself in this case doesn't really mean you should, just do things because you want to do them, just because it makes you happy. Love yourself means all those things that you know morally that are not good for your life, that are not good for your health, they are not good for your mental or whatever it is. Just avoid them. Okay, avoid them. You are someone that you like smoking and you know that this smoking is not good for your health. Avoid it. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of times we find ourselves in situations, find ourselves in very uncomfortable situations, and these situations try to take away our attention from God. Okay, you can't be someone like a criminal and then you're in the prison and you're thinking about God. The first thing on your mind is how do I get out of this situation? So love yourself, avoid things that will put you in situations that you won't be able to remember God. Do you understand? And what the next recommendation? Love your neighbor like you would love God. Yes. I didn't say love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as like you would love God. Do you understand? I'm not saying you should fear your neighbor, worship your neighbor. Just love your neighbor as you would love God. Alright? Love your neighbor. You're someone that's always angry, always angry, and then you want to take it out on your neighbor. No. Is that would you like to take it out on God for one mistake or one error? Yeah, I'm not saying God makes errors, but think about it. Right? How would you love God? How would you want God to see? If God was a person, let me put it like that. If God was a person, how would you treat God? So you treat your neighbor as such, as how you would treat God. My next recommendation is show mercy to yourself. So this is in line with loving yourself. Show mercy to yourself. Don't be in a haste to try to judge yourself harshly. Some people say I don't deserve to know God. I don't deserve to be the presence of God. Who told you that? Who told you that God came for the sinners, not for the righteous? So don't be in a haste to condemn yourself completely. Give yourself room for forgiveness. Give yourself room for second chance. Always come to God when you think you've taken the wrong step. All right. The main message of this point is, at every point in time, make sure you have a reason to come back to God. Alright, don't be the one to condemn yourself that you don't deserve that forgiveness. What's the next point? Don't think you can love God all by yourself. Okay, some people they feel like, okay, I like to pray alone. Say in a family, I like to pray alone. I don't want to go to church. I would like to stay at home. I read my Bible, this and that. I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people, but for me, my recommendation is that you try to join a community. Yes, try to join a community. The essence is that community serves as a yardstick and also as a reminder. When you think you're drifting, you have someone by the side to tell you, hey brother, hey sister, let's get back in line. You understand? So always have a community that you are building your faith with. Alright, and at the same time, this community doesn't have to be not necessarily online. If you can build a physical one, fine, but if online works for you, still do, but make sure you have a community. Okay? Now the next recommendation is don't try to be perfect in your relationship with God. There are a lot of people when they feel like, okay, I've given my life to Christ, I've connected with God, every other thing stops. They just try to disconnect themselves from every other person. It's just them and God. And then when they do eventually make one mistake or the other, you see them start shying away from God. Alright? I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue perfection. Okay? I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue perfection. Chase perfection, but at the same time, don't think you are perfect. Don't think you are perfect. Okay? Maybe I should change that, not right, but don't think you are perfect in your relationship with God. Always know that at every point in time you are working towards perfection. You understand? And the next point is don't try to fit into another person's story. A lot of people they think because so person is speaking in tongues, I have to speak in tongues. Okay? They think that okay, this person God will be to me in a dream that this is what I want you to do. So different ideologies on how we should follow God. I'm saying be the author of your own story. Right? Make sure you have your own unique way of serving God, of knowing God. You don't have to fit into another person's story. Sometimes it can be very frustrating. It can be really, really frustrating. Okay, now finally I would say find something that keeps you focused on God, always constantly keeps you focused on God and brings you back to what you started drifting. What can this thing be? For me personally, I'm someone that likes to, so because I like to be in church. I like to be in church. Sometimes I'm not saying that I always want to go to church, but I like to be in that presence, in that community, to watch what's happening in the church and all that. So for me, it's fun. For me, it's fun. So this is one thing that makes me, at the end of the day, if I look at myself and I feel like I'm drifting, I'll say, for the sake of this, then let me just go and do this, try to bring it back to God. Even if it's just to watch maybe how the pastor or how the priest is dressed that day, I just like seeing it. Fine, let it bring me to God. Alright? Now, what I'm saying can be a person, can be a thing. It doesn't have to be a thing. It can be someone that you are seeing in church. You like the way this person talks. Let there be something that's always bringing you to the presence of God, always reminding you of God. Alright? So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, peace and love.